I am Frederick Osaimenu, and I'm Mosaic.
We are the Mextros, and we are Mosaic.
Hello, I am Joe, and I am Mosaic.
Hi, I'm Ivy, and I'm Mosaic.
We are Amy and Darren McLaughlin. We are Mosaic.
I am David, and I am Mosaic.
There's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you captured me. I've got joy instead of mourning. Yeah, there's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love. I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you captured me. Yeah, I've got joy instead of mourning. Oh, there's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you've captured me. Yeah, I've got joy instead of mourning. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. There's beauty in my brokenness, there's beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you captured me. I've got joy instead of mourning. There is beauty in my brokenness. I've got true love instead of pain. There's freedom though you captured me. I've got joy instead of mourning. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. Yeah, I've never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. I've never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. I've never been so free, caught in your love for me. Never been more secure, knowing your heart, Lord. Never been so free, caught in your love for me. No, never been more secure, 'cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul, down deep in my soul. 'Cause you give me joy, 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 oh,
Hello, and welcome to Mosaic Church Online. Today we are celebrating the launch of Mosaic Church's newest location at 350 North Fairfield Road, and we're joined by West Ohio's very own, our Bishop Gregory Palmer, in person and right here online. Please enjoy this message.
Hear now this reading from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 9, verses 2 through 10. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah and Moses, who were talking with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He did not know what to say, for they were terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them, and from the cloud there came a voice, "This is my son, the beloved, listen to him." Suddenly they looked around, and they saw no one with them anymore, but only Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, he ordered them to tell no one about what they had seen, until after the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what this rising from the dead could mean. I found a snippet that made an observation about the Harry Potter books that says this: in the Harry Potter books, the students at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry have to take a course in transfiguration. There they learn how to change teacups into rats or flowers into candles. And to most people's minds, that is pretty much what transfiguration is. It is a change of state from one thing into something quite different. The Greek word, for example, used in Matthew's gospel about the transfiguration scene is the word from which we derive the English word metamorphosis. And that word likewise conjures up caterpillars turning into butterflies, or as Franz Kafka characterized it, waking up one day only to discover he had turned into a giant beetle. Jesus clearly was taking 3 of his disciples on what we would call a small group experience, a short retreat, overnight, I don't know. Trying to explain transfiguration, by the way, in using the categories of rationality and science alone is a futile exercise in all likelihood. You will note that the text that I just read does not try to explain, to persuade, or to convince about transfiguration. It only reports and describes an experience. I love the writing of Anne Lamott. One of my favorite books is Help, Thanks, Wow, 3 Essential Prayers. Well worth your reading if you have the time. And so in thinking about her wow as one of the essential prayers of the human experience, I wonder if transfiguration is about the wow. All of us have had wow experiences. Someone walks by and they are dressed to the nines, or they are stunningly beautiful in some way. We go to a mountaintop literally, and we look out and we see the majesty of creation. We look up at the giant redwood trees, or we look from the bottom up at the height of mountains varying all around the globe. We go to a flower garden, we see a butterfly, we see a magnificent bird brightly colored. We look into the constellations of the night, and sometimes the only response is to say, wow. I'm not suggesting that there are not explanations and ways of understanding height and depth and coloration. I am saying that the appropriate and likely first response is wow, and maybe that's what leads scientific minds to know more, to understand the how did it get this way. All of us All of us have had wow experiences. And I want to say to you, transfiguration, likely for Peter, James, and John, was one of those wow moments. Even though they may have wanted to say something, the first thing was wow. How did we get here? Why us having this experience? I want to say to you that all of us need the wow experiences of our lives, and we need them in the context also of our Christian life, faith, and experience. Not so much the wow that scowls and wrinkles the face, the wow of disappointment. Wow, I can't believe you said that, but wow, are you serious? Are you kidding me? The wow of coming to know that you have been loved with an everlasting love, that you're in, that you are included, and in spite of what you think about yourself or what others have told you about yourself, the wow of the discovery, the realization, the revelation, the internalizing that God loves you and there's nothing you can do about it. What if more people had wow experiences when they encountered the Christian community? They would be transformed and transfigured by it. And the closer we dwell to the heart of God, perhaps we'll have more wows and we will invite more people into the wow moments of life. I like that movie Hitch with Will Smith, and he says that life and love are not about the number of breaths you take, but about the experiences and the moments that take your breath away. Anne Lamott says, wonder takes our breath away and makes room for new breath. It's like she's saying wonder is about the wow that leaves us breathless, even if just for a moment. She continues, this is Anne Lamott again, when we are stunned to the place beyond words, we're finally starting to get somewhere. When an aspect of life takes us away from being able to chip away at something until it's down to a manageable size and then to file it nicely away, when all we can say in response is wow, she says, that's a prayer. So transfiguration is about the stunningly beautiful wow moments of our lives, but it's also about the light. Do you hear the description? He appeared to them dazzling in white, bright garments, such as could not be bleached on earth. Transfiguration is about something being revealed. It's almost about blinding light, and yet not quite blinded, that we can't see that something special is going on. Transfiguration, turning to Anne Lamott again, is in thinking of it as light. Light reveals, she says, us to ourselves, which is not always so great if you find yourself in a big, disgusting mess, possibly of your own creation. But like sunflowers, she notes, we turn toward light. And in this light, we can see beyond shadow and illusion to something beyond our modest receptors, to what is way beyond us and deep inside. Transfiguration is about the light shining in such ways that we see not only the triune God, but we see our own lives in that light, revealed, bathed, purified, transformed, I would say all of the above. As the disciples watched the dazzling Jesus, they also observed him in conversation with Moses and Elijah. And the question is begged, what's that about? Is it about the past as prologue? You know that saying, what is past is prologue. In contemporary use, The phrase stands for the idea that history sets the context for the present. And the quotation about past as prologue is engraved on the National Archives building in Washington, D.C. I think that conversation that they observed, maybe overheard, eavesdropped on a little bit, is a reminder that while Jesus is distinct from Moses and Elijah, there is continuity if one sees it in the larger redemptive mission of God and the salvation story of God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sanctifier. This is a continuing, unfolding story. It comes to a particular consummation and summit in the life, death, and resurrection. But Jesus never completely unhinges himself from his own heritage, though he does claim for himself that he is the fulfillment of all that has been foretold ahead of his coming. Peter knows in this scene that something special is happening, especially when he sees Jesus in conversation with Moses and Elijah. And his response, I think, not knowing what to do, but I'm only an armchair analyst. But Peter always seems to need to have something to say, like so many of us, even if we don't know what to say. We don't know quite how to let it go at while. So he says, Master, it's good that we're all here. I say that might be his way of saying thanks for this small group, this retreat experience. But he wants to freeze frame the moment. He wants to enshrine the moment. And he says, out of his own recognition that something unique and special and important is happening here, let's build 3 booths, let's build 3 dwellings, let's build 3 huts, let's build 3 tabernacles, one for each of you. Almost before that conversation or that idea can go anywhere, this cloud overshadows them, and they hear a voice that says this is my beloved Son, listen to him. Message, there is continuity, but now I need you to pay attention to Jesus. I need you to pay attention to Jesus. Does the church, do I sometimes stumble, fail, fall, because I have actually ceased, unknowingly, unwittingly, paying attention to Jesus? You remember how popular it was 15 years or so ago, and occasionally you see them, the little wristbands and buttons and other things, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Sometimes, friends, I don't even want to ask because I don't want to know the answer, because I think it demands too much of me and from me. But the invitation still comes from the Mount of Transfiguration. This is my beloved Son. This is the chosen one. Listen to him. Pay attention to him. Don't get caught up in the disorder and the scatteredness of our inability to focus. Keep our eyes, this text reminds us, on Jesus, and watch him in all of his movements. And watch this now, and don't ever think you've got it all down. No, on this journey, we keep seeing more, peeling back more layers, because we keep applying what it means to be a servant and a follower and a disciple of Jesus Christ to more and more context and situations that we've never seen before, or that are not spoken of explicitly in the Holy Scriptures, and we've got to stay deep in the well with our eyes fixed on Jesus, saying, now Jesus, what to do in this situation? And finally this, as they're coming down from the mountain, all retreats have to end, all small group experiences end after 60 or 90 minutes or whatever, and you come back again the next week. Jesus does something that seems strange but not uncharacteristic, particularly in the Synoptic Gospels, and I would say in Mark. He says, don't tell anybody about this until the resurrection. What? Are you serious? You want us to keep this unique experience to ourselves? I mean, after all, when you've had a unique experience for which you've been invited and singled out, you want to tell somebody because you want to feel special. No. Cool it. It's not his direction not to live their lives fully and to live them to his glory. It is sit with this a little while. Watch the whole unfolding of this ministry. Watch the moves that I continue to make. Not just the exorcisms and the healing and the teaching and the proclamation, but watch my suffering, my dying, and my rising again. And then you will have the whole picture of what your life is supposed to be like. Are we a church that teaches and preaches and heals and embodies dying to one thing in order to rise to another? Sit with it a while. Let it marinate. Walk around it. Look at it. Let it look at you. We need to be confident in the work that we do because we have reflected deeply upon who Jesus is for us, for the church, and for the world. The hymn writer says, open my eyes that I may see. Glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me. Spirit divine, open my ears. The next verse goes on to say, voices of truth. Open my ears that I may hear. Voices of truth thou sendest clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Sit with it a while. Open my mouth and let me bear tidings of mercy everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with thy children, thus to share. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes. Illumine me. Spirit divine. In the name of God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sanctifier, may it be so.
Thank you for joining us online. If giving is on your heart, please click the link in the description box. There are lots of ways for you to get involved within the Mosaic community. Visit www.wearemosaic.org to find out more. See you next week.